Very good afternoon to all of you. We are indeed honored and proud to have amongst us Indian Forest Service Officer, Mr. PruthviRaj. Thank you for accepting our invitation, being amongst us. He's achieved Indian Forest Service very recently and is now continuing working to realize his dream towards civil services. Welcome to all of you as young aspirants who are dreaming to be civil servants. An auspicious day where you begin your journey, a journey that dreams about achievement, a journey that dreams about service to the nation. And as you start your journey, we are very humbled that the trust that you have placed. A very warm welcome to the larger family of India for IAS. And with that note, I would take pleasure in introducing our guest for the day. Once again, a very warm welcome to Mr. PruthviRaj, and I would request Sandeep to hold a small token of gratitude. So, very briefly about PruthviRaj, he is basically from Davangere, and by the graduation he is completed his engineering, and then he is worked along. He is presently selected as Indian Forest Service Officer and working towards his dream of civil services. As most of us, he also dreamt about civil services very young, and he's worked continuously towards it. Forest service is also an option that many of us take to ensure that we achieve something that we dream for. We are very happy that we have a youngster to address all the young aspiring minds of civil services. As such, I now invite PruthviRaj to share few thoughts about his journey and also inspire the young aspirants about how to take the journey forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that kind introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. So I was told that this would be an orientation session and freshers would be coming here. So you're all starting your journey towards your realizing the dream towards civil services, and that's a very positive sign to see youngsters like you take that step at a very young age and commit yourself to this journey. So you are all here with dreams, aspirations, and hopes, and as beginners, I can also see that you are also having a little doubts, fears, inhibitions, confusion. So this session is mainly to address those your fears and doubts, and I really do not want this to be a monologue, and so you can always ask me questions in between, so I will be happy to help you with that. So let me begin this by saying that this journey is going to be difficult. I'm telling not this just to scare you or anything, but to make you accustomed to the process that is going to be going forward. The difficulty arises from the fact that this exam drowns in the scale of competition. We all hear the disturbing facts online. We get to read them that 10 lakh people apply for this exam. The success rate is 0.1%. It's all true. It's all true. But you need not fear. Whatever be the facts, if you have that right approach, and if you have commitment, and if you show the character that is needed to crack this exam, then these facts simply fade away. And you can let's not get into the book list and all. You have wonderful faculty here, and you can always approach them. Let's focus on the broader picture, what it takes to be an IAS officer or an IFS officer or whatever civil services that you are aspiring for. Firstly, this exam is not what you are accustomed to during your graduation. This requires a tremendous transformation from your end, because the college education that we are exposed to, it's totally different. This requires a different kind of commitment, and more than that, you have to do the same thing over and over again for 1 or 2 years, and that's not easy. You may get bogged down. You may feel frustrated, you may not get the results very soon, you may feel demotivated, but that's part of the process. And the sooner you realize this, the sooner you understand that you have to go through all of this, the sooner you begin to enjoy the process. Because also appreciate the fact that since you have taken this step, you get to read so much and learn so much about our country and about our world. So start enjoying this process, and then you'll find the rhythm. And nowadays, this the infodemic, what we call the explosion of information. Every day, every hour, we get a new strategy, a new book list, a new topper stock. But understand that all of that is not necessary once you identify your strengths and weaknesses, and once you chart out a path for yourself. So Abraham Lincoln said this: if you ask me to cut a tree and you give me 6 hours, I will use the first 4 hours in sharpening my axe. So that is the process that you should do in the initial stages. Identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, chart out a path for yourself, choose the right optional, prepare a book list for yourself, consulting your mentors, and stick to it. You will not get the results immediately, but that does not mean that you should be constantly changing your strategies. That will be just like, going or blowing wherever the wind blows. So that should not be done. So once you stick to whatever path you have committed yourself, you will start seeing the results. And I would also like to tell that this exam, every year, so many people give this exam and so many people fail. So there aren't enough mistakes that you can create new. What mistakes you are about to do in the future, those mistakes are already being done. So you need not do the same mistakes. Ask your mentors what are those mistakes, do not do them, so that you can reach your destination as quickly as possible. So be proactive in approaching your mentors, because one misstep or one wrong choice, it will cost you a year. And it can be as frustrating as it can get. So identify those mistakes as soon as possible and rectify those mistakes. And secondly, I would like to add about the kind of environment that you should be in. Firstly, do not get into too much friendship, and have a right set of friends, but they should be more motivating than you, they should be more committed than you, and wasting time near coffee shops and all, that is a strict no-no. Because understand the competition. If you are not working, then there are 100 people who are working, slogging day in and day out, and they will snatch everything away from you. So you should, and I would like to say that you cannot achieve new things with your old habits. So this, if this exam takes new kind of efforts, you should be ready to put in those new efforts. And so I'll ask if you have any doubts, I will be happy to help you if you have any specific questions. So you can always ask them. Right. See, current affairs do not get reflected in this exam exactly. Whatever current affairs you read, there is always a static portion to it. So if you are reading the election of the, if a new president gets elected, then you should read the static aspect of it. So the interlinking of current affairs with the static, you should learn as quickly as possible. So it's not just that you read them in silos, or as you mentioned, what time you should give to current affairs. It's not just that you give some time to current affairs and some time to static. No, it's always integrated. So if you are reading something in the newspaper, what is the static portion of that you should read in in your textbooks? So that way, if you can, because if you analyze the previous year question papers, you will see that although they are inspired by current affairs, the questions will be more of static nature. So your foundation should be strong. So if you can learn to integrate the current affairs with the static syllabus, then you will not be differentiating between the two. You will be reading them in a very holistic manner. So that's what is needed, if you can ask me. Yes. Yeah, there is this dilemma about optionals, and of course, one of the criteria that is suggested is that you should choose the optional that you are interested in. But along with the interest, you should also have the guidance. If you simply choose an optional just out of interest and you have nobody to guide you, then you will be wasting inordinate amount of time towards making a plan for it or studying it. So that should not happen. And I would also like to add that you are here to crack this exam, nothing more, nothing less. It doesn't matter which optional you choose or anything like that. If the optional that you are going to choose will be helping you in getting a rank, choose that optional. If you have the guidance, choose that optional. If you have somebody with whom you can clarify your doubts for that optional, then you should choose those optionals. And interest, I think it can also be developed, but you cannot arrange for guidance immediately. So choose those optionals where you can where you will have guidance. And related to that, I will also like to say that do not romanticize this exam, in the sense that you start reading India After Gandhi by Ramchandra Guha. Now that you are all come here and you are all super motivated and you want to read as much as possible and you want to enhance your knowledge and broaden your perspective. But no, this should be a very precise approach. What are the books that you have to read? Only that much. And you are here to get a rank as quickly as possible. So do not make this a very romantic thing, and restrict yourself to as few sources as possible, as few strategies as possible, and practice them over and over again till you see the results. And you can always make course corrections. Of course, there is always an option for that. But changing your strategies, changing the books every now and then, that is a sure shot recipe for disaster. And it's also about the mindset that is required to clear this exam. Do not be distracted, because it requires at least 2 years to crack this exam, at least 1 year of preparation and 1 year of exam itself. So if you do not have the right mindset, then it will become difficult, and the longer it gets, the more difficult it will become. So be very focused, be very precise, and have that clarity on why you want to do this. And so commit to yourself for at least 2 hours, and more often than not, you will get the results. Right. Right. So so that comes from knowing the syllabus thoroughly. So one of the criteria is to know the syllabus in and out. And secondly, you should be thorough with the previous year question papers. Before beginning any subject or even joining any test series, any coaching, ask yourself, do you know the syllabus? Ask yourself, do you know what this exam is demanding? Have you analyzed the previous year question papers? So if you do this exercise for just about a week, you will understand that what are the important things that you should focus and what are the things that you should not focus, and that saves a lot of amount of time. And so the guide will be your syllabus and the previous year question papers. And so when you are thorough with those, you will understand what is important and what is not. Yes. Editorials are super important. I will say that you should read them religiously daily. There are many beneficial aspects of it. One is you will understand an issue thoroughly, holistically. You will understand the historical aspects, the future propositions that are proposed by the editors, and the current events that are related. And secondly, you will develop those articulating skills, how to express your viewpoints in a very refined language. And that is, in the mains, it's about for 1,750 marks. And what is being tested is how well you can articulate. So you will develop that skill by reading the editorials. And thirdly, there is the comprehension aspect in the CSAT. So if you can develop that habit of understanding the editorials very quickly, reading it in a very short time, then you will be able to solve the comprehension, the passages in the CSAT very quickly. So there are many benefits to it, and reading editorials over a period of time will give you a kind of confidence and clarity about an issue. So no matter what kind of twisted questions that may get asked in the exam, you will have the necessary background information to make the right guesses, or the right to frame the right kind of answers. So that background information will be developed by reading the editorials, and do not skip it at any cost, if you ask me. All right. So firstly, you can go through all the topper talks that you can that you think are legit, and secondly, you can approach your mentors. And so by going through the topper talks and by approaching your mentors, you can plan a strategy for yourself by identifying your strengths and weaknesses. For some people, reading NCERT textbooks may itself be very difficult. They will be very new to this process, and for them, a certain kind of strategy may be devised. So that you should sort it out with your mentors, and if you think that you're reasonably good in certain aspects, then you can probably devote more time towards those areas where you need to improve on. So it's a very customized approach that I'm suggesting, and one size fits all approach that does not work. So you should have a strategy of your own, and so you can take the help of the mentors. And there are some universal traits that are valid across all the successful aspirants, and that is doing enormous amount of practice. So whatever strategy that you devise for yourself, make sure that you dedicate enormous amount of time for practicing what you have studied, because as it is said, knowing is not just enough, you should also apply. So make sure that you also dedicate enough time for practicing. And second is that the consistency. It's not that in one test you score really high marks and for the next 3 days you are just taking a break and chilling, and the next test you score very low marks and you are all depressed and you do not want to get back to studies. So if you can develop that equanimity, and even if you are not if you are not disturbed by the outcomes of the results in this practice tests, and if you can maintain the consistency throughout, then your strategy is probably right and you are going in the right direction. And make sure that as prelims is getting very unpredictable in the recent times, you might have gone through the reviews, or you might have seen the last 2 papers. So at least devote 6 months for prelims preparation if this is your first attempt. Make no mistake about that, because if you can clear the prelims, it gives you an enormous sense of confidence, and you can prepare for your mains with all confidence. So devote enough amount of time for prelims, at least 6 months, and in those 6 months what you should be doing is revising the textbooks that you have selected for yourself, and practicing n number of tests, but most importantly analyzing the previous year question papers. By analyzing, I do not mean just flipping through the pages. I mean micro analysis. If a question is asked, what is the inspiration behind this question? What future questions can be asked based on this? And what are the options given? So if you can micro-analyze each and every question in the previous year questions, at least for the last 10 years, then you will be reasonably prepared for the exam. And it holds true even for the mains, but as beginners, since you will be mostly devoting yourself to the foundation, the prelims paper should be your guiding light. Thanks. Right. So I scored 210 marks in the interview this time, and this was my first interview at the UPSC. So I got a reasonably good score. And so if I can speak a little bit about that, it is the most enjoying phase of this UPSC journey. You get to know yourself about a lot. So you start reading about yourself, your place, your school, and your hobbies and interests. So that it's a very enjoyable process. And I had given mock interview organized by India for IAS, and it was as similar as the actual UPSC interview. And the feedback that I got was it was excellent, because it was the mock was taken by bureaucrats themselves, so they know the kind of expectations that are placed before us at the UPSC. So that gave me a very valid environment to test myself. And I can recollect that it's also not about your knowledge in the interview, it's also about your personality and character. And I stepped into the interview room, and the first question that I was asked, I was not able to answer, and I thoroughly freaked out. But in the next few questions, I was able to pick myself up, and I was enjoying the interaction process with board members. And so it also gets reflected, and that also helps you to score really high marks. And the reason why I said your old habits will not help you in achieving new goals is because you have to transform your personality also throughout the process. You cannot be like your careless attitude, a sense of responsibility, a sense of looking at the global issues with a bureaucratic mindset in the sense that how can you solve them. So if you can constantly think about all these issues, and you can feel about them very deeply, and if your interactions with your friends is based upon these issues, and so the sort of communication skills that you can develop throughout this process, it will all add up to scoring the good marks in interview. And it's like the cherry on the cake. So interview marks can really make or mar your ranks. So do not take that also lightly. So the process for all the three stages, the interview, the mains, and the prelims, it all begins together. Whatever knowledge that you gain through this process, you will be able to express it before the board. So how do you connect this knowledge with the issues that are there in your world? So have this integrated mindset, and so it's also about developing the personality throughout the process. All right. If there is one issue that is common to all is time management, and 1 year is not sufficient. 2 years may not be sufficient, 3 years may not be sufficient, but then you hear someone come and say, I cracked this exam in 6 months. So what is the different, what different he is doing from the rest of the people? It's about the priorities. What are your priorities now? If clearing this exam is your priority, then you should not be spending more than 1 hour on your phone. You should not be spending more than 1 hour on your daily gossiping or interacting with your friends, and all those things. So try to sneak in those extra minutes from every slot, and how can you use them to help you achieve your goal. So if you are traveling, you can always read a newspaper. If you are doing a daily exercise, or if you are taking a walk, you can always listen to a lecture on your phone. So it's all about your priorities. Why are you doing this? And if you are really committed to this, then you should be dedicating everything that you have towards this. And if your priorities are right, if you exactly know what you want to do, then you will weed out all those unnecessary things. And during this time management is relevant in the sense that even during the exam hall, in the prelim stage, you have to look at 100 questions in 120 minutes, and you have to make the right choices. So if your mind is not working as fast as it can be and as clear as it can be, you will make mistakes. And the single biggest complaint that aspirants make after coming out of the prelims hall is that they couldn't solve the questions that they knew because there wasn't enough time, or they couldn't think clearly, they got anxious or something, all that. So throughout this process, if you can learn how to prioritize, and if you can be very clear in your approach, then you will waste less time, and you will also learn to value the things that are most important towards clearing this exam. And mains exam is it's a very strenuous exercise. You have to sit for 6 hours every day, and you have to give those papers back to back, and writing 56 to 60 pages per slot, and around 120 to 130 pages in a day within 6 hours. It's very taxing. So all that comes through practice. Nobody comes to this exam having all those skills. They develop through this process. And so how can you develop those skills that are necessary to crack this exam in this process? That is important. And so if you can prioritize your activities, your daily activities, your monthly schedule, your yearly schedule around developing the skills that are needed to clear this exam, then you will do good. That is what I can say. So I deactivated my social media in 2017, and I still do not have a social media account. I installed my WhatsApp only after getting my IFS results. So because I was very clear that I need not know who are going on a vacation or who are eating at what restaurant. I absolutely have no business with that. And I also need not show to the world that what am I doing and what a life that I'm leading. I was very clear about my priorities. So I deleted all my social media accounts, and I have never used them. My favorite pastime activity used to be reading newspapers. So if I used to be bogged down by the monotonous textbooks, I would pick up newspaper because there's something interesting going on around the world. So that was the break for me. So you can, of course, used to watch a little bit of YouTube, but you can also cut it down. And nothing is going to be changed if you uninstall social media, because you will be doing it for your own good. And so because you cannot have both the things, right? You cannot be on the social media also spending 3 to 4 hours every day, and you cannot expect to become an IFS officer at a very young age. They are mutually contradictory and mutually exclusive. So you should pick the right choice. You should make the right choice. So if you want this, you cannot have this. It's as simple as that, and it's as clear as that. And not just social media, any sort of distraction. Before you want to do anything, or if you want to start anything, ask yourself whether it will take me towards my goal. If the answer is yes, do that. If the answer is no, then there is no point doing it, because you will be receding from your goal. One step forward, then if you make a wrong choice, you will come 3 steps backward. So that's what we are not here to do that. We should be close to our goal as soon as possible. So before you do anything, any activity, if your friend may call you for a tea or your friend may call you for a party, but ask yourself, do I have to really go? I have these many things to do for today. Should I be really going? So if you have this clarity, your parents may ask you to attend a function of a relative or something that you should ask yourself, do you really need to do that? So it's as simple as that. So always keep asking yourself, what are your priorities? If the steps that you contemplate, if they are not aligned with your priorities, then it's no use doing that. Yes. So any other questions? And I can see parents also sitting here, and I can say that all you can do is create a perfect environment for your wards to study, and that's it. They will take care of themselves. And the preparation comes with certain societal expectations. When you say that you are preparing for this exam, and more people will try to scare you than give you that confidence. This exam, it takes years of preparation, 5 years, 6 years. It will take 6 attempts, and you have to sit for minimum for 4 years. Those are all true to some extent, but do not let yourself be convinced by the wisdom of the society. Society may have its own opinions, but even you have a choice. You have that agency to exercise what you want to do. So if you can understand that, and if you can make the right choices, then it will help you in more ways than you can think. My optional for the civil services is sociology, and for the forest it was geology and forestry. And in the forestry, I chose geology and forestry because I absolutely had no background, but there was guidance available for geology, and I had to prepare after my civil services means. So I had this 50-day window between the civil services means and my forest services means. So I had to prepare 2 new optionals, and I cannot pick an optional subject where I do not have guidance. So I chose geology, and it worked out for me that way. Right. So this pressure of clearing in first attempt, it arises because of the fact that we tend to focus on the results rather than on the process, and this has been said by MS Dhoni and several times, that you should always focus on the process. The results will take care of for themselves. But when you are constantly focusing on this result, clearing in the first attempt, becoming an IAS at 21, we are actually not focusing on the process, the things that we have to do, the hard work that we have to put in. And we also get to become anxious during this, because that pressure of clearing in the first attempt, it will always be weighing down on us. And I will tell the reason why I couldn't clear my first prelims. It was not that my preparation was average or below the required level. My preparation was decent, but I freaked out in the exam, because even I went into the exam hall with the mindset that I have to clear this in my first attempt, and I could attempt only 65 questions because I became super conscious. Even the questions that I knew, I started doubting my own instincts. I started fearing what will happen if this gets wrong. What if this is not the right answer? So I wasted so much time, I couldn't answer many questions. That's because that pressure of clearing in the first attempt. So if you can overcome that, and if you can just focus on your daily tasks, if you can focus on your targets, and if you can focus on learning, practicing, then automatically everything will fall in place. So even if you cannot clear in the first attempt, it's not a big deal, right? Because at least you will have done justice to your preparation. But doing injustice to the preparation and expecting to clear it in the first attempt, that is ridiculous, right? So first you should do justice to your preparation. So focus on that. And I realized this mistake of this getting anxious and all. And from the next attempt onwards, I stopped focusing on the results. And ever since then, I have scored at least 20 to 30 marks above the cutoff in the prelims exam. So it's all about the mindset. I was scoring very low marks in my initial attempts, but then how did I improve my scores to such drastic levels? It's not that I did something very differently. It's just that I learned to value the process more. So if you can begin to value the process from right now, and stop bothering about the results and start dedicating yourself to the work that you have to do, then results will automatically flow. So yeah, that brings to the concluding remarks, and I hope most of your doubts are cleared, and you have that some clarity towards what needs to be done to this exam, and it's not going to be an easy journey, as I said in the beginning, but that's why mentors are here, and that's why your teachers are here, and so you can don't be that blind man who searches in a dark room. If you have doubts, go and approach your mentors and get them clarified. Because do not assume to yourself that you know everything, or do not assume that what you are doing is the right way. Because as I said earlier, many people make the same mistakes again and again. Don't be that student or that aspirant. So always seek guidance from your mentors. If you have any confusion, approach them, get them clarified. And so with that, I wish you all the best of success, and you all reach your desired rank and service very soon, and I will be happy to meet you maybe in the immediate years as you emerge successful in this exam. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, PruthviRaj. 210 marks in interview doesn't come just like that. So the crispness and the clarity and the thoughtfulness with which sir delivered each and every idea that he had is mirror to the clarity that he has developed to the process and to himself. So it was very enlightening. I can say with all privilege and priority, one of the best talk that a recent topper has given in time. So you should all be privileged to have. Thank you so much once again for those words of guidance. It's time now. I welcome our CEO who's joined just now, our CEO Srinivas sir, a pillar behind the entire initiative of India for IFS, co-founder and CEO of India for IFS. Please join us on stage, sir. And I would also request Srinivas sir to share the initial words of guidance and welcome all of you to the larger family of India for IFS.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ನಾನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದು ತಡ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಕಳೆದ 6-7 ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ಶ್ರೀಯುತ ಪೃಥ್ವಿರಾಜ್ರವರು ನನಗೆ ಪರಿಚಯ. ಅವರು ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ಸು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ರಜಾ ತಗೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರು ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸನ್ನು ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು, ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಜರ್ನಿಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ರಿಚ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅವರು ಮೊದಲು ಆಯಿತು ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. 1 ಗಂಟೆ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫೋನ್ ಬಂತು, ಸರ್ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ನಾನೇ ಬಂದು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಈಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಜರ್ನಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಪ್ರತಿನಿತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದ್ಕೋತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಬರುವಾಗ ಸಿಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನನಗೆ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಪೃಥ್ವಿರಾಜ್, ನೀವು ಬರಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಒಪ್ಪಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ IAS ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳು. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ IAS ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಅತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ವಿಚಾರ ಏನಂದರೆ, ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲೇ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಂಡಿಡೇಟ್ಸ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯೆನ್ಸನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ನೀವು ನಿನ್ನೆ ಫೀಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಏಕ್ದಮ್ ಬಂದು ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಾಸನ್ನು ಕೇಳಬಾರ್ದು. ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಈ ಜರ್ನಿಯ ಆಳ ಅಗಲಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥಕೋಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀನಿ, ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೇವಲ ಪಾಠ ಹೇಳೋದು, ಪಾಠ ಕೇಳೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮಿಗಿಲಾದದ್ದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಾಧಕರ ಅನುಭವದ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು, ಅವರು ಈ ಜರ್ನಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಏನು, ಅವರ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ಏನು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಅತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದದ್ದು. ಕೋಚಿಂಗ್ ಅದು ವರ್ಷ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದೇನಿದೆ, ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಈ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಈ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಪರಾಗಿ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಈ ರೀತಿಯ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು, ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಟಾಪರ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಬ್ಯೂರೋಕ್ರಾಟ್ ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು ಒಟ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜರ್ನಿಯನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥಪೂರ್ಣ ಆಗಿಸ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ನಾವು ಈ ಥರದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ಮಧ್ಯೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯೋಜನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದರ ಸದುಪಯೋಗವನ್ನು ನೀವು ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಯಶಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಗಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ IAS ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಯ ಆಶಯ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ವಿಚಾರ ಏನಂದರೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ನಂಬರ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ ಕಡಿಮೆ. ಯಾವತ್ತೇ ಆಗಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನೇ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಾವು ಜಸ್ಟಿಸನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಮೆಂಟರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ, ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೌಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಒಟ್ಟು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ IAS ತಂಡ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥಿತವಾಗಿ ಸಜ್ಜಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಪೃಥ್ವಿರಾಜ್ ಥರ UPSCಗೆ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು, ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮೈನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಥರ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ವ್ಯಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ, ಹೈದರಾಬಾದ್, ಚೆನ್ನೈ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಗಳಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿಯನ್ನು ಕರೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ, ಒಂದು ಕೋಚಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಉದ್ದೇಶ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದು ಸದುಪಯೋಗವನ್ನು ನೀವು ಪಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂಡ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅಗೇನ್ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಮಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸಾವಿರಗಟ್ಟಲೆ ಕುಂತು ಪಾಠ ಕೇಳಿ ಅದೊಂದು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಭಾಳ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವನ್ನು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ IAS ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ. ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇನ್ನೂ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಹೊಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಯ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ CS ಕೇದಾರ್ ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತು ಬರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಅವರು ಮಾತನಾಡಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 1979ನೇ ಬ್ಯಾಚಿನ IAS ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಯವರು, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಕೆಡರ್ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ, ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ವರ್ಷ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಏನು ಜರ್ನಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬ್ರೈನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈ ಫೀಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವರ ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ IAS ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಗೆ ಕರೆದು ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಟಿಬದ್ಧರಾಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದು ಸದುಪಯೋಗವನ್ನು ನೀವು ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ IAS ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮಾತು ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ, ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತಿಂದ ನೀವು ಜರ್ನಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಗಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, ನೀವು ಕಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ. ಪ್ರತಿನಿತ್ಯ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಗಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಿ. ಆದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಓದಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕತೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕರಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಓದಿದ್ದೆ ಆದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಏನು ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನೀವು ಸಜ್ಜುಗೊಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಈ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಶಸ್ಸಿದೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಂತ. ಇದು ಕಠಿಣ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದೊಂದು ವಿಭಿನ್ನವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ವಿಭಿನ್ನತೆ ಎನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೋಆಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 100 ಪಟ್ಟು ಕೋಆಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನೀವೇ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕವಾಗಿರಲಿ. ಕೇವಲ ಬರೀ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನದಿಂದ ಓದಿ ನಾಳೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮರಿಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಆದರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು 3-4 ವರ್ಷದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹಾಲಲ್ಲೇ ಕುಳಿತು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಚಿಂತನೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ವಿಶ್ಲೇಷಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೆಯುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ಗೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ಪ್ರಿಪ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ IAS ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಇದ್ದದ್ದೇ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮೊಳಗಡೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಭಗವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರತಿಭೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಭಗವಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಗುರುತಿಸಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಏನು ವೀಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಏನು, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನೀವು ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಭಾಳ ಇದೆ ಈ ಫೀಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ, ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ IAS ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಶ್ರೀ ಪೃಥ್ವಿರಾಜ್ ಅವರು ಬಂದದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಅವರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ನಡುವೆ ಒಂದು 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 ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಗೌರವಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಶಾಂತ್ ಅವರು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಾಗಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜರ್ನಿ ಸುಗಮವಾಗಿರಲಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಹೆಸರು ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಶಸ್ಸು ಸಿಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಆಶಿಸ್ತಾ ನಾನು 2 ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್, ಜೈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಮಾತೆ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. So it's always a privilege to honor an achiever, a young achiever whose inspiration can carry for generations. As an achiever, he is somebody who can definitely take the journey of service to the nations much bigger. I request our CEO, Srinivas sir, to do the honors and all of you to join us with a big round of applause. This is an occasion to congratulate an achiever and to also wish that he does great honors as he serves the nation bigger. Congratulations, PruthviRaj, and we wish that you take this miles ahead and bigger dreams that you have already seen and working towards becomes a reality very soon. So it is with immense pleasure and gratitude that I express sincere and heartful thanks to PruthviRaj to make time for us, especially when we are just about 15 days away from mains, and that is something that he's been working towards. So I would understand sitting in your position with all the butterflies in your stomach that would have accepted this invitation. Thank you so much for making time for us on a Sunday, and I'm sure every single individual here and those who are listening us online would have taken a lot of good message forward to their journey, and it came very simple, straight and clear in every word that you spoke of. So I once again express a thoughtful thanks from the entire team, management and the family of India for this once again. Thank you so much, PruthviRaj. Thank you so much, sir. So, to all of you for whom we are starting a journey tomorrow, very few words as we start. It has been a culture with India for IS that whenever we start a new batch, we don't jump into classes as such. That is something that Srinivas sir himself was pointing out. So, we start our journey from tomorrow, where the official classes start. Your batch timings will be 11 o'clock to 1:30. So, every day you will have 2.5 hours of class. So these 2.5 hours of class is something that will continue. We plan for a GS session which is approximately 700 to 750 hours on an overall trot. So your batch is a 11 to 1:30 batch. This continues as such. But approximately in mid-November, December onwards, we'll have some additional classes which we'll be informing you in prior, so that you will have to attend the classes as such, keeping in mind the syllabus completion also. We have some teachers who will be coming down from Hyderabad, who will be coming down from Delhi for specific portions which are very important, something like history, something like ethics. These are expert faculties who teach across the country. So considering their calendar schedules, we'll have additional classes for them. So when Karim sir comes down for history, we will have classes on the weekends, that's Saturday and Sunday. This will be a long class about 6 hours. So 6 hours on a Saturday, 6 hours on Sunday. Ee riti Saturday, Sunday, about 4 to 5 weekends, continuous ancient history, medieval history, art and culture classes. All these will be informed to you in prior, at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks, munchene niಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ, so that you can also plan accordingly. So as of now, your classes will be only 11 to 1:30. This will continue. When these additional classes are there, at least 2 weeks in prior ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ, so that ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಆ ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ನ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. Okay. For the first 2 weeks, your classes will be in our old premises, which is just 2 buildings away from here. After that, your classes will be permanently shifting here, and this is where the classes will continue. Right. So for first week, starting tomorrow, we'll have a very detailed orientation. The idea is simple, that ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಜರ್ನಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ, you will have to have complete idea of what you are doing and how you should do it. So that being the perspective, it is important that you take the journey forward in a very meaningful manner. So this 1 week we do a thorough detailed orientation, which is one in terms of the syllabus. So tomorrow we introduce the journey of UPSC, what, why, how, where we give you a complete outlook about every aspect of every stage of civil services exam. What is the importance of each of this stage? How do you prepare? Preparation for civil services helps you for many different exams. What are those exams? Because when we face students at the beginning, when we face parents at the beginning, you will have definitely different doubts in terms of KPSC exam bariboda, CAPF exam bariboda, SSC banking exam bariboda, ಬೇರೆ opportunities ಏನಿದೆ. There are multiple such questions. So all this idea of UPSC what, why, how ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಸೆಷನ್ ನಾಳೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ 11 to 1:30. After that, 2 continuous days, you will have very detailed syllabus orientation, because you have 5 papers of your syllabus, which is essay, GS1, GS2, GS3 and GS4. ಈ 5 ಪೇಪರ್ನ 2 ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ on Tuesday and Wednesday we'll have a very detailed syllabus orientation. Now these are orientations which are extremely important, because ನಿಮಗೆ ನೀವು ಕಲಿತಾ ಇರೋ ವಿಷಯಗಳ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಣದ ಅರಿವಿರಬೇಕು. You will have to have idea about every single detail that you are going to study, because as PruthviRaj himself was pointing out, this journey is a long journey. ಬೇರೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಥರ ಇದು ಇವತ್ತು ನೀವು ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ 2 ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆದು ನಾನು 3ನೇ ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ 1 year ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್. ನೀವು 2024ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, 2024 ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಂಬರ್ ಬರೆಯುವಂಥ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, 2025 ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಆಸ್ ಸಚ್. ಸೊ ದ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವಿತ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ಪ್ರಿಲಿಮ್ಸ್, ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಯಾವ ಐಡಿಯಾದಿಂದ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ದಿಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 1 week will give you that base. So we don't see this as a time tactic, we see this as a very clear understanding. So that is why we have made it part of our process. So we have a very detailed syllabus orientation happening for 2 days. Then we get on to a pattern where we want to introduce the NCERTs to you. The base study material for any competitive exam for general studies is NCERTs. So how to study NCERTs? Why are NCERTs important? From when to study NCERTs? How to approach the NCERTs and NCERTs importance to the exam? Idra ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು detailed session ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Then we get on to the idea where we introduce the idea of optional. Now, generally, like you also asked questions in terms of you will have your doubts, the different things that are available in the market, right? Because this is a very niche market, the multiple videos available, multiple optional things that are available in the market, where each one of you will be hearing that this option is very good, this option is performing very well, ಈ optional ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ optional ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, this option is not performing, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಾ. So we do one optional orientation very detailed where we tell you what is an optional, how should you choose an optional, what are the different criteria that you should put across when you choose an optional, and then how do you actually pick up an optional ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ನೀವು ಇದೇ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇದೇ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ತಗೊಂಬೇಡಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಜನರಲ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೊಂದು ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ 6 ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಫರಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್. 1 or 2 ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಆಫರ್ ಆಸ್ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್. So the optional teachers who are taking these optional teachers will come and we will have specific time where they will be spending about 20 minutes to half an hour with you, where they will discuss about their optional. So all the 6 options, which is Kannada literature, anthropology, public administration, political science, sociology, geography, 6 ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಡ್ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. On Saturday, we want to do a newspaper orientation because current affairs is a very important idea. So how do you study newspaper? How do you approach a newspaper? What basis do you pick up news? Which news to study, which news not to study? How do you apply the newspaper aspects from current affairs perspective? Apart from newspaper, what to study from current affairs perspective? These are also things that we will be taking. So this first 1 week of thorough, detailed orientation will be helping you to understand what you study and how do you approach from the applied perspective. This will be the first 1 week schedule. The next week we also want to do some current affairs classes, keeping in mind that you have come from different backgrounds. Some of you are engineers, some of you are commerce, some of you are arts, some of you are business management, right, basic sciences, medicine. So ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ನಿಮ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಕಾಮನ್ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ನ ಒಂದು ಹಂತಕ್ಕೆ ತರೋದಕ್ಕೆ we will do some current affairs classes the next week. All these current affairs classes are exam oriented current affairs classes. ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಬರೀ ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿಪಡಿಸೋ ವಿಷಯದಿಂದ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, but also to ensure that if these aspects are part of prelims or mains, how will questions be asked? ಈ ರೀತಿ ಕೆಲವು current affairs classes ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Nantara we start with the subjects. We introduce the basic subjects. We have a pattern where we clearly have set them. Generally as students ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ generally feelings ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ that ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ನಂತರ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಹೀಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. This is the idea that you follow. But out of the 10-15 years of experience that we have had with the field, we have been guiding students as such, we follow a methodology where we start a subject, minimum 1 to 2 weeks we have one subject that we do, after 2 weeks we go to another subject. So ee reeti minimum 2 weeks, maximum 3 weeks anta one subject ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಂತರ we go to another subject. ಈ ರೀತಿ cycles ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ subjects ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. We never mix up that ಒಂದೇ ವಾರದಲ್ಲಿ 2 subject 3 subject ಅಂತ mix ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, until unless we introduce some subject like CSAT. CSAT is aptitude, which is purely a qualifying paper in prelims. ಅದನ್ನ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ನವೆಂಬರ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕನ್ಸಿಡರಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಂತ. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಬೇಸ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಜಾಗ್ರಫಿ, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಟಿ, ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್, ಜಾಗ್ರಫಿ, 4 ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಜಾಗ್ರಫಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪಾಲಿಟಿ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಂತರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದಿ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ದಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್. ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್, ದಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜರ್ನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಸ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಆ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿನ ಕೋರ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ NCERTs ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. Every week you will get a schedule. That schedule will say this week on Sunday we will share a schedule to your group, on WhatsApp group ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ schedule share ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, where what will be this week's timetable, which NCERTs are your target NCERTs for this week ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. So through that week you will have to study. We give you a ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್. ನೀವು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಮಲಗಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇದಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಾದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಸ್ಟಡಿ? Given that all of you are 11 to 1:30 batch students, that ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರೋದು 11ರಿಂದ 1:30 ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, we go with the assumption that most of you are not working. There might be some of you who will be having an evening work schedule, afternoon work schedule of, say, that I work from 2 o'clock to night 10 o'clock, or I work late night and then come early in the morning. Atara ಕೆಲವರು working ಇರಬಹುದು. But we generally go with the assumption that ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಜನ almost 90% you're full time studying ಅನ್ನೋ assumption ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. So we give you a model timetable that ನೀವು what time you wake up, what time you close your day. ಈ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಏನು ಓದಬೇಕು, NCERT ಯಾವ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಬೇಕು, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಯಾವ ಟೈಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ನ GS ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು we will help you run the process. So from our side, the entire team of India for IS is at your service. Your batches are very clearly planned, when to start, when to end. Everything is clear in ourselves. Okay, nothing will be haphazard. Each one of you are as important to us because you have trusted your journey to us. That trust is something that is very highly valued because you have given a very important asset of yourself that we are sharing together. Right? We always say, ee journey alli ನೀವು ಏನನ್ನೂ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. In terms ದುಡ್ಡು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದೇ asset ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ. The only valuable thing that you are investing in this process is your time, and that time never comes back. So you should be very honest to yourself about the time that you're investing. We will ensure that we will work along with you shoulder to shoulder to ensure that the time that you're investing is valued effectively. Okay, so once again, a very hearty welcome to all of you to the larger family of India for IS. We always say that you're family members, so that we work along. We will also close by telling that as PruthviRaj started, I would not say that it would be difficult. This is not a difficult process. Further, this is also not a very easy process. This is a challenging process. This is different from the lifestyle that you have led till now, which means it demands that you be a little different from what you are. You need not cut yourself completely off. ನಾನು ಯಾವುದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಯಾವುದು ಹಬ್ಬ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಏನೂ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಬರೀ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ, ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಬಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್ ಬರೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ರೈಟ್? ನಾನು ಯಾವ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯು ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪುಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಟು. ಆ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್. Each one of us are open to you. You can come down, sit down with us, express the fears, express the feelings, express the low times that you're facing. Definitely through this process, there will be multiple times where you will feel, in ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಆಗತ್ತಾ, ಇದು ನಾನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಯ್ತಾ, ನಾನು ಬೇರೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಕೆಲವು ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಬರಬಹುದು. ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸತಿ ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. It is important that you take all these feelings on a very balanced manner. We'll work along in that sense. We also have an in-house dedicated counselor by name Dr. Akshay Damle. Akshay Damle is our sociology faculty. He's a professional counselor. He will also be able to help you if you're facing something that requires dedicated support. Otherwise, every team member of India for IS is dedicated specifically. We have a well-planned calendar that we'll be working along. We will ensure, we'll not promise you that we'll make this journey extremely smooth. But we will definitely promise you that for every obstacle that you face in your journey, we will give you enough courage, make you enough capable that you challenge that challenge and you ensure you meet the success. Right? An attempt is a number, time is the passage, but your effort is ultimately that has to speak. So with those few words, once again, welcome you all. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock, we'll start off. The first few classes will happen in our old premises, and wish to see all of you on place tomorrow. Okay? So since these are all orientation classes, if some of your friends are interested, some of your family members are interested, some of your young friends who want to listen, welcome. Please bring them along. We will be able to help them. After that, we start off with the classes. Okay? Thank you so much. If there are any individual queries, I am available. Otherwise, right, you can take your break for the rest of the day. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we'll meet once again. Thank you so much. Very hearty welcome once again.